thanks so much for being here. My name is Kat and I make houseplant videos here on Good and Planty. If you just happened to absolutely love this video, please consider liking, commenting, subscribing, or following me on Instagram. All of these things help me grow my channel like a plant. Today we are repotting Hoya. I am so excited. I've been putting it off. I've talked about putting it off, but today I decided to sit down and just do a few Hoya just to get started. I do have a little setup going on the floor. I'm gonna take you over there and we're just gonna jump right into it. Okay, this is the repotting system that we're working with today. I'm gonna do my best to show you guys what I'm doing before and after. We have some plants and pots here. I have my soil mixture here. I have a whole video on this soil mixture if you wanna check it out. It's basically a mix of pumice, cocoa peat, orchid bark, worm castings, and I was sent this like mixture of leca balls and charcoal as well. So I have some bonus little additives in here today. So that's what we're using. Basically, a big objective for me today is to pot up like plants so that I can kind of compact my collection a little bit. So I think an easy one to start out with is gonna be these two Hoya obovadas. My plan for these is to honestly just pot them both up in this terracotta pot that I have. They're both in kind of these like nursery pot type vessels. Potting them up together is gonna help it look really full, make my life easier, and also move this guy out of sphagnum. He does have some roots going, so I think it's an okay time to repot them. So I'll take this one out. We have some roots, let me show. This is a very good mixture for Hoya because it is so chunky. Hoya are very epiphytic, so they appreciate having those like chunky orchid bark charcoal pieces that their roots can hold on to. I'm feeling very confident about this mixture and I think that they're gonna take to it really well. So now we're gonna do this and I'm gonna save the sphagnum because for some of these plants, I actually want to move them to sphagnum. So I'm gonna carefully remove the sphagnum from this guy. Should probably wet it. I like to remove sphagnum with water. I don't like dry sphagnum. The reason I like to wet them is because, I mean, dry sphagnum is kind of easy to remove because it just falls off, but I don't like the roots to be dry and brittle, so I do prefer to kind of wet everything and then remove the sphagnum off the root system that way. I find it just like saves the root quite a bit. And also I'm not like so particular that every single piece of sphagnum has to come off. I just do my best to get most of it off and whatever stays on will just be part of the soil mixture. For me, this is gonna be good enough. You can see that there is still some sphagnum stuck on there, but it's not a whole lot. And I'm just gonna plop them into this main pot that I have going here. I'm just gonna stick them, actually, I don't wanna pot them super close to the edge of the pot for now because I think that one of the minuses of potting up your Hoya in terracotta is the fact that they kind of cling to that material, that very porous material. So I'm trying to like put them a little bit closer to the inside of the pot, kind of take it from there. So I'm gonna wiggle it in and then I'm gonna backfill. Ta-da! And we are all good to go. One plant down, she's looking thick. The soil looks really rich and amazing and loose. And once all of these plants are done, I'll give them a good drink. But this one is looking really, really, really good. So I'm happy. And that's one less pot that I have to worry about because now they're consolidated. Okay, what do I want to do next? You know what? I'm gonna consolidate my two Hoya Sunrise because they, I think, are just ready to be bumped up to a big pot in their permanent home. Their root systems are looking a little bit more solid, especially this one that I've had for quite some time in sphagnum. I think it's a good time to just pot them together, let them mingle, and fully cement into their new home. So that's gonna be very exciting for me because I've been growing this one out for a really long time. All right, I'm gonna get a bit of backfill in here. Just like a little baby scoop. On this one, okay, we have very decent roots. Yeah, this is great. I love what's happening here. There's actually a bit of soil in this sphagnum ball, so that explains why I was kind of able to hang out in the sphagnum for so long. This one, whew, not great. They're very brittle, so I don't know if I necessarily would want to pot it up yet. There's like literally nothing on it. She needs sphagnum, to be honest with you, but it is what it is. I think I'm just gonna try out potting her up in here and letting her root out in soil. Yeah, this isn't the ideal situation. I think with something like this, I would much rather put her into some sphagnum, let her root out. And if my big goal wasn't to pot these two together, I probably would pause the repot and put her into like a proper propagation setting. But because I'm a little bit impatient, this is like a little, I wouldn't say do this at home, but that's okay. I'm just gonna pot these two together regardless and kind of pray for the best for this little guy. I'm gonna loosen up this root ball a little bit, save some of that sphagnum for my other plants that I do wanna put in sphagnum. It looks like I'm being a little bit careless, but I'm honestly just massaging it very, very lightly and like letting the sphagnum come out on its own. I'm not ripping anything. I'm not being aggressive. I'm kind of just tussling it around to see what comes out. But I really don't recommend going in with like a heavy hand and potentially ripping up Hoya's like very fragile root system. They usually come out pretty thin and can blend in with the sphagnum. So definitely be careful as you are very gently removing the sphagnum from the plant. This is an exciting moment for me. Like I've been wanting to pot these two up together, honestly, since I've gotten the second Hoya. I was in no rush to repot a lot of these. I talked about that in my Hoya video. I don't know, like once I started getting up close with them, I really wanted a more sustainable way, especially since I'm traveling a bit. I didn't want all of them just sitting in sphagnum that can dry out really easily. I wanted to put them into a little bit of a better medium just while I'm gone. Okay, 3 cuttings going in. And now I backfill. It's like a pepper shaker. Okay, and she's done. She looks so good. Oh my God, she looks so full and happy. Yes, this is exactly what I wanted. And I do have a cash po all set up for her. So she is like this finally like complete happy plant. She has a home and it makes me feel really, really good to not have her in limbo anymore. I'm so happy I finally did this after all that time. We are honestly kind of killing it. We're getting through these pretty fast. I have a decent amount of sphagnum now, so I think I'm gonna do some of the plants I wanted to transfer into sphagnum. So in this pot, I have a Dischidia and a Hoya linearis. They are in just like the babyest bit of sphagnum in this little plastic cup. So I kind of want to separate them into their own little, I think these are like glass containers from IKEA. I'm just gonna fill them with sphagnum. I think that they're gonna hold moisture a little bit better, and potting them separate will reduce any risk of their roots intertwining and allow them to kind of take their own space. I kind of like that this sphagnum has a little bit of soil in it because I'm hoping that there's just like a hair of worm castings in here for nutrition. I'm just gonna kind of take them out of here and separate them. Both of them have such dainty leaves. Come here. Okay. Base of sphagnum in here. I'm kind of just treating the sphagnum like soil, so I'm gonna put a little bit of a base, and then I'm just gonna gently wrap the base of the plant in this sphagnum as well. It's honestly very, very similar to how you would treat soil. For this, I can just go in with my spray bottle and spray the sphagnum until it is thoroughly wet. And we're good to go on one of them. And then for the other, these don't really have any roots, which sucks. I wish they did. And that is why we are taking better care of them right now. Pack it down a little bit. Go in with the spray. And there we go. These don't have drainage holes, but they are clear on the bottom, which is really helpful for me to see how moist the sphagnum is. So both plants are done now, yay! 2 more down. I think next I want to, and I've been talking about doing this for quite some time, but I really want to get my Hoya calistophylla into spag. She is not rooting very well in this soil mixture, especially since I'm not keeping her in very high humidity. So I think that the spag is going to really promote that root growth. I'm seeing a lot more growth on the Hoya that are being kept in spag versus soil. I really love this plant. It's one of my favorite plants right now, and I just want to give her the opportunity to thrive and really get established in my collection. That is why I'm making this critical decision today. You can see there's like no roots. There's like the babyest bit of roots coming in. And I really want to keep that going. These roots cling onto the material so well because they are so epiphytic. I'm actually excited to show you guys what this plant is doing because it's a really good example of what these roots do and why people say don't pot them in terracotta, even though I do anyway. I don't really want to disturb the clinging of the roots that's happening already, so I'm just gonna put a little base layer of spag into this to-go container that I saved from whatever takeout I got. And then I'm just gonna plop her as is without disturbing the root growth into the center. And then I'm going to also wet it. Just wanna make sure it's covered. There we go. Then I'm just gonna wet it. Ideally, I would put the container up top and create like a humidity bubble, a propagation box of sorts. However, because of the leaves, I cannot fit the lid on top, so I'm just gonna have to keep on top of this plant, make sure that the spag is still moist. And another one down. I think that she's gonna thrive a lot more in here, and I'm very, very excited because I do wanna get her in a real pot, a beautiful cover pot, and really display her in my home, but it's gonna take a little bit of time before we get there, I think. Okay, and last but not least, we're kind of killing 2 birds with one stone, I think is the saying. With this last repotting, I want to take this Hoya Super Silver and put it into soil, and then I'm gonna take this excess spag and just kind of quote-unquote backfill the spag with this Hoya Matilde. She's not ready for soil yet. I do want to continue to encourage the growth that's happening in this cup. She's doing well. I think that this is gonna be a good way to give soil to a plant that needs it, and then more spag to a plant that needs that. All right, I'm gonna take her out, save that spag, loosen it up a little bit. And then we're done. Let me show you what we did. And honestly, the last step after cleaning up this horrific mess is just gonna be to give all of the plants a very thorough soak so that they can really cement into their new soil. If I see any gaps come up over the next week, I'll just go ahead and backfill a little bit more with the same mixture, and you're good to go. You can repot your Hoya that easy. It's so much fun, and I think that we're good. That felt really, really good. And that concludes today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please help me out by liking this video, commenting, subscribing, all that good stuff, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!